It all began with a text. Not a fight, not a slammed door, just a simple message that stung like a paper cut. Working late. Don't wait up. Third time that week and it was only Wednesday. Every betrayal hides a secret. Subscribe and I'll show you the stories they never wanted exposed. I sat in the dim kitchen, staring at the glow of my phone screen, trying to reason with myself. Claire's busy with a big project. It happens. But deep down I knew, it wasn't just about work. It had been 3 weeks of this. Every night, a new excuse, each weaker than the last. First it was client dinners. Then grabbing food with Lauren. Then nothing. Just silence. Home felt like a freezer, cold, lifeless, no trace of warmth. Anytime I tried to talk, I got the same reply. Not now, Matt. I'm tired. We'll talk later. Later never came. If I'd realized this was the first act of a slow disaster, I might have done something different. But back then I kept telling myself it was just a rough patch. I was wrong. I'm Matt, 38, a logistics manager. My job isn't flashy, but I keep trucks moving across 3 states and make sure deliveries land on time. No one sees the chaos, but it pays the bills. My wife, Claire, 36, is a marketing executive who could sell ice in the Arctic. We've been married 8 years, together 10. No kids, just Rusty, our mutt, who's better at reading the room than either of us. We used to be solid, weekend hikes, greasy diners, late-night laughs at awful horror movies. Now, I'm eating takeout alone, wondering when my home turned into a hotel where my only role is taking out the trash. That night, I tried to keep things normal. Claire was sitting at the kitchen island, eyes glued to her phone, nails tapping like Morse code. I leaned on the counter, sipping a coffee that had gone cold. Hey, I said casually. What if we got away this weekend? Just us like before. Maybe the cabin by the lake? She didn't look up. Just kept scrolling. I'll think about it, she said flatly. But I promised Jen I'd help with her kids. Probably won't work. No glance. No smile. Nothing. Like I'd asked her to fold laundry, not spend 2 days together. All right, I muttered, walking out as the floor creaked beneath me. Strike one. If I'd known that was the last time I'd try to bridge the gap, I'd have saved my breath. The next few days were a masterclass in avoidance. Claire drifted in after 10, dropped her bag and headed straight to the shower. Know how was your day? Know what's for dinner? Just the faint trail of perfume and a closed bedroom door. I'd sit on the couch with Rusty on my lap, flipping channels like it mattered. Inside I was keeping score. Every dodged call, every brushed off question, every not now stacked up like unpaid bills. By week 4 I was done playing nice. I wasn't angry, anger is messy. I just stopped following her script. I quit asking where she was. I quit checking in. I quit picking up her dry cleaning or that overpriced oat milk. I lived like she didn't exist. Cooked for one. Watched what I wanted. Slept when I felt like it. And guess what? She didn't even notice. Or maybe she liked it. One night, she walked past with a glass of wine and said, almost pleased, "It's nice. Quiet lately." Like I was the neighbor who finally turned down the stereo. I looked up from my book, a half-read thriller I was using as a prop. Yeah, I said evenly. Peaceful, isn't it? She smiled, thinking she'd scored a point, and disappeared into the bedroom. That's when it sank in. This wasn't a phase. She was redrawing the map and I wasn't even on it. The first real crack showed at a friend's barbecue. Tom and Sarah's place. Backyard strung with lights, the usual crowd pretending not to measure their lives against each other's. Claire was in her element, working the room. Her laugh cut through the air like a bell. I was by the grill with Tom, flipping burgers when she called me over. Matt, honey, tell them about that time you got stuck in traffic with the delivery trucks. I knew that tone, sweet on the surface, sharp underneath. The story wasn't funny. It was about a brutal day where I fixed a scheduling disaster and saved a client deadline. But Claire spun it as comedy. I strolled over, beer in hand, leaning against the table. You mean the time I saved a client $1 million by fixing a mess most people would have ignored? I grinned but locked eyes with her. The group chuckled, thinking I was being playful. Claire's smile faltered for half a second. Oh, come on, she laughed, waving it off. You were yelling at drivers for hours like some wannabe air traffic controller. It was hilarious. The crowd laughed again. But I saw it. She wasn't sharing, she was setting me up as the fool. I tilted my head, still smiling. Funny how you tell it. I remember saving the day while you were out, networking, at some wine bar. I made air quotes. Tom snorted into his beer. Claire's eyes narrowed, but she smoothed it over with a laugh, steering the topic elsewhere. Point made, I wasn't her punching bag. The car ride home was silent, Rusty panting softly in the back seat. Finally, Claire broke the ice, her voice sharp. You didn't have to make me look bad back there. I kept my eyes on the road. Didn't make you look bad. Just told the truth. If you don't like it, maybe stop turning my day into your comedy routine. She crossed her arms with a huff. You're so sensitive. It was a joke, Matt. Lighten up. I glanced at her, calm but firm. Jokes are supposed to be funny. Claire, I'm not your sidekick. Don't use me as a punchline just to get a laugh. You're blowing this way out of proportion, she snapped, staring out the window. You always do. I let the silence hang before answering. Nah, I said slowly, making sure every word landed. I'm just calling it what it is. You want to make me the joke? Do it on your own time. She didn't reply. Just clenched her jaw and looked away. I didn't press. I'd said enough. But inside I knew, this wasn't innocent teasing anymore. She was pushing boundaries, seeing how much I'd tolerate. And I was keeping score. A few nights later, things took another turn. Claire's sister Jen came over for dinner. The three of us sat around the table, picking at a lasagna I'd thrown together. Claire and Jen were deep in conversation about Jen's kids when Claire turned to me mid-bite. Matt, can you toss the laundry in the dryer after we eat? I forgot earlier. I chewed slowly, put my fork down and glanced at her. Jen froze, her fork hovering like she knew trouble was coming. Sure, I said evenly. Right after you tell me why you've been treating me like your personal assistant for weeks. Claire blinked, caught off guard. What's that supposed to mean? I leaned back, arms crossed. It means I've been running your errands, covering your slack, and you don't even look me in the eye when you ask. What's going on, Claire? Too busy running the world to notice I'm sitting right here? Jen cleared her throat, staring hard at her plate. Claire's face tightened, but she kept her voice sugary as if we had an audience. I'm just busy, Matt. You know how work is. Don't make a big deal out of it. I didn't back down. Not making a big deal. Just pointing out you've got plenty of time for wine nights and babysitting, but not one real conversation with me. I'm not your secretary. Jen tried to defuse it, her voice nervous. Okay guys, maybe let's not. Claire ignored her and leaned forward, her tone low and sharp. You're really doing this in front of my sister? I held her gaze without flinching. You chose the moment, not me. I'm just giving you the same energy. You want me to play errand boy? Fine. But don't act like it's normal to treat me like I'm on your payroll. Jen mumbled something about checking the oven and quickly left the table. Claire didn't move. She just glared at me like I'd torn up her script. You're acting like a child, she hissed. I work my ass off and you're whining about laundry? I leaned closer, a smirk on my face. Not whining. Just done playing fetch. You want laundry done? You've got 2 hands. Use them. I'm out of the servant business. Her laugh was short and bitter. Unbelievable. You think I'm the problem? You're the one turning a molehill into a mountain. I pushed my chair back, standing. Not Claire. You built the mountain. I'm just refusing to climb it. I grabbed my beer and walked out onto the porch. Rusty followed, his tags jingling with each step. I didn't look back. The next blow came at work. My work, not hers. I was in the break room grabbing coffee when my coworker Dave leaned over with a grin. So, Matt, Claire says you're the king of logistics screw-ups. What's the deal with that truck story? I froze, cup halfway to my mouth. She said what? Dave chuckled, oblivious. Yeah, last night at the bar. She was telling everyone how you botched a delivery and had to swoop in to fix it. Said it was classic Matt, always making a mess. I set the cup down slowly, my jaw locked tight. She hadn't just joked with friends, she'd gone to a bar with my own colleagues around and dragged my name through the mud. I forced a smile, keeping it light for Dave. Yeah, Claire's got a way of spinning things. Funny how she left out the part where I saved the client's ass. Next time you see her, ask her about that. His grin faltered. He realized he'd stepped into something. Oh, yeah. I just thought it was funny. Real funny, I said, clapping his shoulder a little too firmly. Tell her I said hi. Back at my desk, my head was buzzing. Claire wasn't just teasing me anymore. She was rewriting me, turning me into the guy who couldn't get it right. And she was doing it in the one place I still had control, my job. That night I was waiting. Claire came in late, heels clicking across the floor as she dropped her bag on the counter. I was in the living room with Rusty at my feet, scrolling through emails. Hey, I said without looking up. Heard you had a good time at the bar last night? She poured a glass of wine. Yeah, it was fine. Why? I put my phone down and faced her. Sounds like you were the life of the party. Telling everyone how I'm the king of screw-ups at work. Nice touch. Her hand froze on the glass, but her voice stayed smooth. Oh, come on. It was just a story. People laughed. You're taking it too personally. I stood, crossing my arms. Personally? You went out there trashing me to my coworkers and I'm supposed to shrug it off? You think that's cute? She rolled her eyes and sipped her wine. It's not trashing, Matt. It's storytelling. You're so serious all the time. I stepped closer, voice low but sharp. Storytelling is when you make something up. What you did was spread lies about my job for laughs. That's not funny, it's you trying to make me small. And I'm not here for it. She slammed the glass on the counter. You're paranoid. I didn't say anything bad. You're just looking for a fight. I let out a short, cold laugh. Nah, Claire. I'm not looking for a fight. I'm done playing your game. You want to run your mouth about me? Fine. But don't expect me to play along. I'm not your prop. I grabbed my keys. Rusty, let's go. The dog scrambled after me as I walked out the door. I didn't look back. A week later it went public. We were at a neighborhood block party. The grill was smoking, kids ran wild across the yard, and music blasted from a Bluetooth speaker. Claire stood in the center of a group of neighbors, her laugh echoing above the noise. I was over by the cooler, grabbing a soda when I heard her voice cut through. Matt's always tied up with his trucks. I doubt he even remembers what a vacation looks like. The crowd chuckled and I felt the stares slide in my direction. She wasn't just making conversation, she was performing. And I was the punchline. I walked over, soda in hand, leaning against the nearby table. Funny you bring up vacations, I said loud enough for everyone to hear. Pretty sure I suggested one just last month. You told me you were too busy with your sister's kids. Or was it wine night with Lauren? The laughter faded quick. Claire's smile stiffened. Karen, one of the neighbors, tried to smooth things over. Oh, you too, always teasing. I didn't let it drop. My voice was calm but sharp. Not teasing. Just clearing things up. Claire's got plenty on her plate. Networking, telling stories, keeping folks entertained. Me. I just pay the bills and take out the trash, right? Her face turned pink, though she tried to laugh it off. Matt, please. It's a party. Relax. I tilted my head, smiling just enough to keep it civil. I'm relaxed. Just making sure the story's told straight. You're pretty good at leaving out the parts that don't make you shine. Karen coughed. The group shifted awkwardly. Claire's eyes flashed, but she didn't push it, at least not in front of them. I walked away, soda in hand, and joined Tom at the grill. He raised an eyebrow. You all right, man? I shrugged, popping the can open. Just setting the record straight. Tom flipped a burger, nodding. She's got a way of rewriting things. Always has. You're handling it better than I would. I didn't answer, just took a sip. Tom was right, but this wasn't about handling it. It was about drawing a line. Claire wanted me as part of her act, but I wasn't playing along anymore. The final straw came at one of Claire's work events, a rooftop mixer at some overpriced hotel. Suits, fake smiles, and too much wine. I was there as her plus one, nursing a beer and making small talk with her coworkers. Across the room, Claire was working the crowd, laughing louder than anyone else. I didn't care, until I spotted her with some guy in a tailored suit. Her hand was on his arm, her smile turned up to 11. I wasn't jealous. Never have been. But I knew what it was. She wasn't flirting to cheat, she was doing it to see if I'd bite. I watched for a minute, then walked over, beer in hand. Hey, I said, nodding at the guy. Matt. Claire's husband. And you are? He blinked. Greg. I work with Claire on the Parker account. Cool, I said, turning to Claire. You two looked pretty cozy. What's the Parker account got to do with you laughing like it's a rom-com audition? Her smile froze, but she recovered quick, letting out a laugh. Oh, Matt. We were just talking shop. Don't be dramatic. Greg shifted uncomfortably. I kept my eyes on Claire. Not dramatic. Just curious. You've been too busy for weeks. Guess you're saving the charm for someone who doesn't sign your checks. The air went heavy. Greg muttered something about grabbing another drink and disappeared. Claire's face burned red, but her voice dropped low, sharp as a knife. You're embarrassing me. In front of my colleagues. I stepped closer, steady and cold. You embarrassed yourself, Claire. You think I don't see it? Using me as a prop just to keep your show running. I'm not playing along anymore. She glared, jaw tight, then spun on her heel, storming off. The rest of the night, she worked the room like nothing had happened. I didn't chase her. Didn't need to. Back home, she finally exploded. She slammed cabinets in the kitchen, loud enough to wake the neighbors. I sat on the couch scrolling through my phone, waiting. It didn't take long. You think you can humiliate me like that? She snapped from the doorway, arms crossed. In front of my team? You made me look like a fool. I set my phone down, met her stare. You did that all on your own, Claire? Hanging all over some guy to get a rise out of me? That's your problem, not mine. She let out a nasty laugh. You're paranoid. I was networking. You wouldn't understand, you don't have to schmooze to keep your job. I stood, arms crossed. Don't spin it. That wasn't networking. That was performing. And I'm done being your audience. You've been doing this for months, ignoring me, bossing me around, turning me into the punchline. I'm not your punching bag and I'm finished pretending I am. Her eyes widened like she hadn't expected pushback. You're overreacting. You always do. You can't stand me having a life outside of you. I stepped closer, voice low but firm. I can handle you having a life. What I won't handle is you treating me like I'm disposable. You want to play games? Play them alone. She opened her mouth, then smirked, calling my bluff. Fine. If it's so bad, maybe you should leave. Make it easier for both of us. I nodded. You're right. It will be easier for me. I grabbed my jacket and started packing a bag. Her face went pale. Where are you going? She asked, voice smaller now. Somewhere I don't have to beg for respect, I said, zipping the bag. Good luck running your show without me. That night I crashed at Tom's. He didn't pry, just handed me a beer and let me talk. She's always been like that, he said, shaking his head. Has to be the one holding the reins. You did the right thing, man. You can't live like that. I nodded, staring at the bottle in my hand. Yeah. Just didn't see it for what it was. Thought I could fix it. Tom snorted. You can't fix someone who thinks they're the star of every story. He was right. And in that moment I stopped doubting myself. Claire didn't want a partner, she wanted a follower. And I wasn't signing up for that. A week later I got my own place. Small apartment, nothing special but mine. I left our house keys on the kitchen table along with a note. You wanted simple. Here it is. Good luck. I didn't wait for her reply. Didn't need to. I filed for divorce that Monday. By the end of the month, I was settled into my new life. No whispers. No lists. No dinners that tasted like regret. Just me, Rusty, and a silence that didn't choke me. A few weeks later, Claire sent a text. Can we talk? I didn't respond. What was there left to say? She'd built her world. I just wasn't in it anymore.